Hey, it's Catherine with resinobsession.com, and today I'm going to show you how to use our reusable silicone molds for your resin castings. Now today I'm using our Scrabble tile size mold. You can see we have 20 different wells to use, and I've gone ahead and mixed our resin to use in the mold. Now before you get started, just a few safety things. You want to make sure you're wearing gloves and working in a well-ventilated area. And this mold I have actually prepped with our Ultra 4 mold release. Now you're probably wondering, if it's silicone, why did I put a mold release? Yes, theoretically, silicone should not stick to anything. However, you might make a mistake mixing the resin, or maybe you're using an inclusion that is going to react with the silicone. So it's just a good habit to get yourself into to be on the safe side. Not only that, it also extends the life of your mold. So because the Ultra 4 is an aerosol type product, I've sprayed it outside of the studio and I let it dry about 30 minutes or so. So now what I'm going to do is take my epoxy and I'm going to pour it just into a couple of wells just to kind of give you an idea of what to do. So I've made a spout and I'm just going to pour, and then I'm going to let it fill, and then I might go back in and pour a little more. We'll see how full I got it. Now at this point you'll want to go over it and make sure you've got out any bubbles. If you don't know how to get bubbles out of resin, or you've struggled with that, we do have a video on this channel to show you how to do that. I go over it lightly with a straw. And just my hot breath usually will take the bubbles out. So now that we've got our resin in, the bubbles out, we're going to cover and let it cure for 24 hours. Now that our resin has completely cured, it's time to remove it from the silicone mold. Now, even though silicone is very flexible, you really don't want to bend it any more than you have to, because you want to prolong the life of your mold. It also depends on the tear resistance of your mold. These are fairly rugged in terms of silicone molds, but some silicone is very flexible, can easily be torn. So just be careful. When you're taking out your castings, start on the outer part to remove it and then work your way in. And you should just need to bend it slightly and just pop out your casting. Now I'm going to move to my inside, and same thing, you're just going to kind of bend and pop out your casting. Now that your castings are out, what you'll want to do is wash up your mold with a good soap. I like Dawn Dish soap myself. Wash it, let it dry, store it flat. I would advise you to store it in a bag, seal it, keep it in a box. While bending it like this a little bit to get the castings out isn't a big deal. If you leave it bent for a period of time, it is going to warp. So we'll take another look at our castings. As you can see, we've got a nice, bright, clear casting. And just a word too, if you make your own silicone molds, whatever you use as your master model is going to imprint onto your silicone. So the reason I say that is because with our Scrabble tile molds, I made a point to make sure and use a polished piece as our template for our mold. So as you can see, we get out polished castings, not the wood grain that you would ordinarily see on a Scrabble tile. So if you have any questions, leave them in the box below. Stop on by the resinobsession.com blog and jewelry making forum. We're also happy to answer your questions there as well. Happy casting!